Hey guys, how's it going? So, when we look back on the good old days of rock and roll in the 50s and 60s, if you look back at the old advertisements, then you could get a guitar for under $50. Now, of course, prices on everything are a lot higher now because of inflation, but incredibly, you can still buy a guitar for less than $50. The guitar I'm looking at today is the Iron Strat style guitar, and I bought this guitar brand new off of eBay for $46.02. That included shipping and tax and everything. I really have no idea how they do it. I honestly think that, there was some business that went bankrupt or something and they have like a gigantic warehouse of these, sitting someplace and they're just trying to get rid of them. But this isn't just one guitar. You can buy these guitars off of eBay brand new on a regular basis for a price like that. Now, this is even cheaper than the guitar I reviewed before, the $47 A Moon Strat, and that was a pretty cool guitar, but they went out of stock and then they raised the price, so you can't really get that stuff anymore. But these ones, I'm not just talking about like one single guitar that I bought for $46. This is like a regular price, a regular guitar that you can find all the time on eBay. So, if you look at the specs, it's pretty standard bare bones stuff. You've got a basswood body, it's a bolt-on maple neck, of course, a rosewood fretboard with 22 frets, and all the hardware, the tuners and the bridge and everything, that's all just generic stuff. For the electronics, we've got a single volume control, 2 tones, a 5-way selector switch, and 3 single coil pickups. Now this specific guitar is a transparent blue finish, which I actually think is pretty cool. I always like it when you can see through the finish and you can see the wood grain. And you can see it so well that you can actually tell that this is a 2-piece body. You can see the seam here in the wood where they glued it together. But that's fine. That's pretty standard in terms of construction for guitars. So yeah, like I said, $46.02. Let's go ahead and plug this in and listen to how it sounds. Okay guys, so after playing this guitar, I mean, I can't say that this is a perfect guitar, but for the price, I mean, anything under $50 that basically works the way it's supposed to is a great deal in my opinion. So now there's a couple of things here. One is that the edges of the frets are a little bit rough. Now I wouldn't call these sharp fret ends. They're not going to cut you, but it's not quite as comfortable as it could be, and certainly not as nice as a more expensive guitar that has really nicely finished frets on it. Along those same lines, the surface of the fretboard of the rosewood itself is a little bit rough. I mean, it could be polished more, but you know, that's something you could do yourself. You could take some steel wool or some really fine grit sandpaper and just smooth that out a little bit. As far as the setup goes, I did have to lower the saddles a little bit to get the action a little bit lower, but actually the intonation and the truss rod are already set up pretty well. And they do include a couple of Allen wrenches so you can make those adjustments yourself. Now speaking of including, the guitar comes with a very thin, very cheap but functional gig bag. It also has a guitar cable and of course the arm for the whammy bar, and then it actually comes with a guitar strap and one guitar pick. So I got all of this stuff for $46 and it shipped from within the United States, so I didn't have to wait like a month to get it. Now there's a couple other things I should mention here. One is that if you look at the ads for these guitars, sometimes you see them branded Iron, something like that. Sometimes they don't have anything on the headstock. It's just totally unbranded, but it's actually the same guitar. Sometimes it just depends on the color or the finish it has on it. And I suspect that the Glary brand Strats are actually, again, just the same guitar with a different logo put on the headstock. The other thing to keep in mind with this guitar, and really any real cheap guitar that you're going to find, is the pickups are really not very good. First of all, these are single coil pickups, so depending on where you have the pickup selector set, if you're only using one pickup, you can get some real kind of nasty hum. That's really just in the nature of these pickups. In certain positions, the second position and the fourth position on the selector switch here, you use two pickups together, and so you get a hum canceling setup, and so it'll change the tone a little bit. You don't get quite as much bite out of it, but it will get rid of all the humming noises. The other thing is, often when I review a really cheap guitar like this, everybody's talking about, well, it's because you're using a really expensive amp. That's the only way you can make that guitar sound good. Just so you know, for this demo, I've used the Black Star ID Core, which costs about $100. It's just a little combo amp, and I like to use it for doing demos because it's really easy to record with. But it's not an expensive amp. I mean, you can get the entire exact setup that I'm using for less than $150. As always, I'll put some links in the video description below to where you can find this stuff, and please don't get too pissed off at me if it sells out really quickly. Alright guys, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, I'm looking for stuff to review, so I would love to hear from you if you have any ideas or things that you would really like to see me review. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Talk to you soon.